left-wing Kingz. Listen, think, act, repeat.
So there was a major turn of events in Arizona this week as the Arizona grand jury indicted Rudy Giuliani, Mark Meadows, and other allies of former President Donald Trump for the alleged role in attempting to overturn the 2020 election results. So Ace, what are the charges and what do these indictments mean for the individuals involved?
Basically, in Arizona, they're being held accountable for fake electoral, sending fake electors over there in Arizona and trying to influence that election there. And what's happening now are the individuals that are doing it, Rudy Giuliani, Mark Meadows, they're being held accountable, and they're basically having to go to court for that, being called to court for that right now, being done. Now, the crazy part about it is Donald Trump is listed as an unindicted co-conspirator.
So we're going to get to that.
Yeah.
I'm going to jump forward with that because there's a whole lot of conversation we're going to have on that one.
Wow. Okay. So I ain't going to jump ahead. Okay. But yeah, that's basically what's going on with it right now in Arizona.
What you got, Yolanda?
No, that's exactly what he said. I mean, this is really interesting. That's all
I'm holding back, right? He said hold back. I'm holding
back.
back.
Any specific charges? Yeah. Like this, I'm pretty sure there's a list of charges that you probably found on there.
No,
I didn't
go up over. I know he has 2 indictments. No, but those are other states that have charged Trump. So I don't have just for Arizona.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and do that then. Let's talk about your boy. Why was Trump not indicted in this case?
Well, there's a couple of reasons. First of all, I believe, and they also stated too, that they want to get these defendants to flip. Okay. Mm-hmm. It's easier to flip on the former president. They're trying to see if Trump's going to take office again, because again, you don't want to put Trump in a situation where, because this is what he's screaming already, like, y'all just don't want me to become president. You are like, somehow we as a country and everybody else is against Trump and doesn't want him to be president. So they don't want to put him in that light. They may not charge at this time for tactical reasons. Okay. So it doesn't mean that he's not going to be charged, just especially how the title is written, meaning you did something, but I'm not charging you. Doesn't mean I'm never charging you. They just may not be charging him right now. And just waiting on that immunity ruling as well of the Supreme Court. So we still have a bunch of rulings and things that are in play. So I think it makes it difficult for some states. And he's tied up in court right now. Like, he's in court until I don't know when he's getting out of court. You know what I mean? So just because right now they're not charging him.
It's opening after November.
They're leaving it open because I really want to see after November what happens. Because again, if he becomes a sitting president, yada, 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 we already know about that. That will kind of, yes. So that's where we're at.
Oh, I mean, I don't know, man. It's crazy. I just sit there and I'm just amazed on how, like, where did the justice system or anything come up to where, like, everybody that I mess with that went to jail, is going to jail, they caught up on shit that it's gonna benefit me, but I ain't gonna go to jail. I was thinking today, man, when I was looking at TV this week, I said, this fool got 3 major court cases going on at the same time. He got the Supreme Court tied up. You know what I'm saying? He got New York tied up.
Georgia.
Mm-hmm. We ain't even talking about that. Ain't even going on yet.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
But
But right now, what's going on? And he got Arizona tied up. Mm-hmm. All of it points to him. And I know this might be getting a little off a radar, but then I'm sitting up there and I'm looking at the Supreme Court, and this lawyer is just straight saying, if he sends SEAL Team 6 to kill somebody, he's the president, and that's an official act. Should he be immune for that? And the dude, he didn't come out and say it, but he was like, yeah, he's immune to that. Like, we're really arguing that in the Supreme Court? That he can off people and get away with it? Like,
he does off people. He off, what's his name? But, he had a reason, but he offs people.
Yeah, and we know president, and the killer part of me, why it's such a insult to my intelligence. We all know the president sometimes has to send people out to kill people.
Yep.
Foreign lands, he has to make that order. Yep. He has got to make that call. But this cat was talking about political rival. Like, he don't want Biden in the race no more. So he just going to send SEAL Team 6 over there and off him. And since he's the sitting president, that's an official act. Now, this is the lawyer saying this. Like, you actually stayed up all night and studied this and came up with a reason to defend that? You know what I'm saying? Like, think about it. Like, you are that into whatever the hell he's talking about doing that you're going to defend that and make that eligible. Then the stupid ass Alito, I'm going to say it, Supreme Court Justice says, I'm thinking about down the line. Well, dumbass, don't you think if you put this law in now, 20 years from now, it's going to be a president that actually does this? You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to get off the case or whatever we're talking about, but it's just nuts that he has all these cases tied up and people are still thinking about voting for this idiot. You know what I'm saying? I just don't get it.
What I found was interesting was the fact that you brought up he is a unindicted co-conspirator. And that means, you part of this, but we're not indicting you in this indictment. It does not mean that we never will. So I like that point that you brought up.
Yeah, it's tactical reasons. And you know what I found that was crazy? And I kept going through this, and I'm like, in any other business industry or, just think about your job. When something happens, who do they go for? You know whose neck they cut off? The president. Who's ever in charge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the highest of the high. You still got to accept accountability because you are the one ultimately in charge. And for them, like you said, with all your friends around you and all the cronies, but you are not being accountable, it's wild to me. But
and you don't want the benefits off of it.
Right. But it's I want to say it's very tactical. I don't know what it is. Again, I don't have all the charges.
I don't understand all the tactical and we doing this and when we're straight up in the face, we know what's going on. That sickens me. And all the only good thing Trump's done is point out how hypocritical this the justice system is for privileged white people. And that's basically it. Because if he wasn't a privileged white person, he wouldn't be going through this right now. That we can blank see with common sense that all of this points to his benefit. But we got to call him a co-conspirator. He's going to win the election. He's going to benefit if these electors go in here and pull off what they're doing.
It's for him.
He's going to do it. He orchestrated this. He's the only president that tried to steal an election. You know what I'm saying? We see that. You know what I'm saying? So why we have to tiptoe through the tulips with this bullshit?
Right.
Like white privileged person is running and they have the money and the resources to play with the justice system. And that's basically all it is. Everybody with common sense can see where it all points to. And that's what's frustrating about this whole situation.
Agree.
What other states are in this game right now? Like you said, you brought up earlier, there's a bunch of damn states. Like he in all kind of cases, y'all both kind of touched on this. Like what other states are charging him with disrupting the election? And what does that tell you about his guilt or innocence?
Well, the New York, I don't want to call it the hush money trial because it's not the hush money. You can pay off hookers if you want to. That's not illegal. You know what I'm saying? And that's basically what they have them with, or you can pay off people for affairs. But the way he orchestrated it through the National Enquirer is the problem. And what he tried to do was say, hey, National Enquirer, kill all the negative stuff on me and amplify all the negative stuff on my opponents. That's what the problem is. And that's what a hush money trial in New York is coming into play because he came up with a plan with National Enquirer to affect the election. He knew he was running for president. So anything that's negative against me, and they call it a catch and kill that. But if you got something negative on Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, run that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's why I say people get it twisted and say, and he comes out and says, man, people are coming from me. No, this dude sat up with his friend, which was the National Enquirer, and said, hey, do this for me to affect the election. Bro, I mean, we've been knowing this since we were kids. He's cheating.
Basically.
Any game you play and you cheat and get caught, that's just what it is. And that's basically what it is. He's cheating at it. Hey, you know what? And you got stuff on me. You got real stuff on me, but kill the real stuff on me. And if something is kind of, like Ben Carson, he put a sponge in somebody, well, then amplify that. You know what I'm saying? And give me a sway in the election. That's the problem, is that when it came to him running for president, he was doing everything he could to cheat to win. With that, we're getting Russia involved. I mean, come on. How much shit has this dude done to make us realize that he cheated to win the presidency and he's trying to cheat again to do it. And then when he was lost, he tried to cheat to keep it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just right there. But, I guess that's a whole nother show, man. I won't get too much into it.
So right now, like you said, we have 2 different indictments, the New York, and we have Georgia coming up. Do know Georgia hasn't gone away. It's just a little quiet right now, but, keep your seatbelt on. There's one in Florida and there's one in the District of Columbia. So overall, he has a total of 88 felony charges. 88. So I'm sure out of those 88, for those who don't believe he has done anything and we're just out to get him, Trumpy has done something, okay? He has 88 felony charges. And this is in various states, guys.
And to remind you, he had these charges before he ran for president.
Correct.
You already had the charges, and it wasn't to stop him from running for president.
No.
It was because he had these charges, so he decided to run for president so he could try to
get away.
Yeah. I think it's funny, man, that he's got all these charges, and like you said, something's gonna stick. But at the end of the day, I think that we've come to a place. We talked about this yesterday as a society where it's like there's a segment of our population that believes if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Mm-hmm. And that segment of our population also feels like everybody's doing it. Why are you charging him? Like, there was a poll that came out the other day that said, they asked a group of people, do you feel that Trump is being treated harshly? And I think it was close to 40% of the people said yes. So that tells me, I'm like, okay, so people really think that even though we're in front of these, you're seeing the trials play out, and you're seeing a lot of the evidence that they're not maybe even seeing, but they're talking about, like, you can't like have cameras in a courtroom in New York, but they're talking on CNN about what's being said and what's happening and the evidence that's being on, and there's transcripts. They're like, there's a lot of evidence. Like, this David Pecker is laying everything out, how they did it, how they agreed to do it. They had the banker for Cohen come on yesterday, lay everything out. This ain't no bullshit, y'all. If y'all paying attention and watching it, he did some shit. But I still think that there's another poll out there. 76% of the people said that if Trump gets found guilty, they'll still support him. Yeah, I think it's a segment of our population that's just like, cheating's okay. And I know people who have told me, do this, do that, cheat on this, cheat on. And I'm like, nah, I ain't taking that risk. I'm just a risk-averse person. But there's a segment of our population that feels like cheating is okay, and Trump shouldn't be, even though they know he cheated, you wouldn't be doing this. You're not doing this to everybody who cheats, and everybody cheats. Them. So you're not doing it to everybody. Why are you doing it to him? You're treating him worse than you're treating all the other cheaters out there, basically is what they're saying.
They ain't getting caught. That's what I can say on that.
Or they caught and they just not. It's like white collar crime. Like this, let that shit go.
Doesn't mean
there's a lot of crimes out there that, let's just put it like this. You jaywalk and a police car drives by, you're like, oh shit, this motherfucker give me a ticket? He like, man, fuck that shit. He keep on driving. He don't care about the fact that you jaywalked. Like, some officer might pull your ass over and say, hey, you getting a ticket for jaywalking. But some won't. It's kind of like that's how they feel. Like, people are making decisions to charge or not charge. But for some reason, everybody's choosing to charge Trump. Why don't just let that shit slide? Just like you would let it slide if I was jaywalking. You know what I mean? But it ain't. It's more serious than that shit.
Right. It's equity. And again, that means a lot of us don't understand what the word integrity is or have ethics or morals. But they speak about it, but it's like, but your actions speak differently. So,
Bernie Madoff, he ran the Ponzi scheme and he went to prison. He's still in prison, going to prison for a long time. And a lot of stuff they got in New York with Trump coming up and falsifying his records when it comes to his business. A lot of those schemes that he came up, his university, a lot of that stuff. And we can just go to the Build the Wall scam that they pulled on them that people went to prison for. Ponzi schemes.
Yep.
Same thing that Bernie Madoff sitting in prison. Ain't nobody crying over Bernie Madoff right now. And I get what you're saying. Well, people are cheating and blah, blah, blah. Why ain't getting off? Well, everybody ain't running for president.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And they shouldn't.
And they shouldn't.
And do you want the cheating Ponzi scheme guy being your president?
No. But I think that the point is when they talk about equity, like you said, well, if you're saying this is how we're going to charge him just like we would charge every other person. But then you turn around, you're like, well, every other person ain't being charged. Yeah. So are you being equitable? Are you saying like, hey, because of your job, you're going to charge me? Well, that's not fair either. I mean, you should be, if it doesn't matter who you are. And I'm not trying to say I agree, right?
Yeah, I got you.
I'm just putting it out there that this is their stance. And I can see if that's how they feel.
Right.
then you know what? You could be right in that case because I know they ain't charging everybody for every single crime that happens. Because I know, guess what? Has anyone at this table or in this room ever driven drunk?
No.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You said goddamn lie.
How the hell am I supposed to get
You
home?
a lie. You a lie.
I'm not a lie.
I don't know about you.
I am not a lie. I do not.
I ain't gonna tell you by the time she came out of my house drunk as fuck in our apartment before we got married.
Oh, wow, bro.
This is on. Hello, this is.
Them eyebrows got eyelashes.
She just
before I
came
started
over. I said,
working-
"Who is knocking at my door like this?
that
Who
is
is
not
throwing
true.
rocks at my window?
That is not true.
This motherfucker here wants
That's not
some."
true.
So
You know,
anyway,
this is like on YouTube. This is like get published somewhere.
so anyway,
Wake up.
yeah, wake
Wake
up,
up.
nigga.
No.
So my point
Principal
is this.
Whitaker.
My point is this.
Principal Whitaker.
No.
My point
not at all.
is this. My point is this, man.
Lies and fabrication.
Lies.
Everybody don't get charged for every crime that
Yeah,
they
I
do.
got you. I
Okay,
got you.
and that's equity. If everybody got charged, right, they don't get caught.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So everybody ain't getting charged. And even some people, they put it to you this way. Anybody at this table ever got pulled over for speeding and the officer let you go? Yes.
Yes.
So
Nah,
I
we
was
never
a
had
yes.
that happen.
So even
That
if
is
you
a
get
yes.
caught sometimes, Tina, even if you get caught
That is a
sometimes,
yes.
they don't charge you.
That is
So
true.
that's the point that these people are
that one.
making.
I've never had that.
Well, I have.
I have
And
too.
that's the point that these people are making. You don't charge everybody for everything, even if you know. So then why are you treating him like this? That's now, like
No,
I said,
I
I don't agree. I think he should be charged for every fucking thing he's doing. But I can see their point. That's all.
That's
I'm
what you're
saying.
saying. I mean, yeah, and
Consistency.
that's where
Yeah.
that's where the sympathy grows in. But I
Yeah.
also say, let's make that Bill Cosby. Let's make that Puff
Nah,
Daddy.
let's not do that.
Let's make that Obama. I don't think that same
let's make
sympathy
that
comes into
Obama.
play. You know what I'm saying? I
Well,
don't
now
think
you're
so.
talking about a
clean.
separate issue, bro. You talking
Yeah,
about
no, I'm
black
just
folks.
saying. I hear what you're saying, and I hear where that sympathy comes. Oh man, everybody's doing, but here's also the deal. His party's been allowed to falsify and claim people and come up with things called like what's called the impeachment inquiry, which doesn't fucking exist. You know what I'm
Stupid
saying?
shit.
And they've tried to investigate and come up with things not only
Right.
on like a Biden, but they tried to impeach it. They tried to charge Biden's son. So they've had their opportunity to
Oh,
try
yeah.
to catch people and stuff,
Oh,
and it
yeah.
hasn't been there. So
But that's when there's no evidence and it's
Exactly.
just false. It's just
no,
all falsified.
exactly. But that's exactly what I'm saying. Where you're feeling sympathy for, oh well, y'all are treating Trump.
Yeah, you right.
Well, no. Trump stuff's out there. That's why they got evidence. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep.
Biden ain't no evidence on Biden. They tried to go after Hunter Biden,
Right.
Yeah.
They
trying
make
to,
him
Trying to get back- trying to
hoping
make
they
him
could find
find
Funny
something.
thing was, what did they say? We're gonna have this inquiry to see if we should do an investigation.
an impeachment
Nigga, they ain't never
inquiry.
seen it.
We're gonna have an impeachment inquiry to see we should impeach
We
him.
should.
Yeah, because
Right.
you ain't got nothing.
Inquire.
And
To
when
inquire.
we had impeachable stuff on Donald
Right.
Trump twice, and they didn't impeach him. You know what I'm saying? And
That's
we're
their
talking about high
point. They
crimes.
wanted to find dirt
Yeah.
or whatever they can, because
Exactly.
just like you said, people are doing stuff that they just didn't get caught doing.
Exactly.
And the Congress
Exactly.
knows that. That's why they
Yeah.
tight-lipped. They're like,
Oh, yeah, exactly.
If they get him, they're gonna come to me next.
Yeah.
About taking money and just doing things that they shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
hopefully we clean that up, because again, you're our Congress. You're a representative of us.
Yeah.
And again, with money and and power,
Yeah.
man, we got to be more about equity.
I want you to go ahead and use your power to click that like button. Okay. Hit that subscribe button and also share this on all of your social media platforms. So, Ace, what do these indictments tell us about the integrity of our electoral system?
That was a whole bunch of big words at once.
On Saturday.
On Saturday early
At 12:07.
when I'm only 1 Celsius in. You know what I'm saying? So, well, I mean, it's a couple of things. One that there's a possibility. What Trump's exposed, there's a possibility that I didn't even really think about, to where we can we can influence the electorals illegally by sending fake electors
Yeah,
in there.
crazy shit nobody
this
ever thought
crazy
about.
Shit I even thought about. But I'm kind of, I can't say impressed. I guess I'm kind of glad that there's a system up there to kind of say, oh, we got, you're trying to bring some fake electorals up here. You're trying to do some bullshit, and we kind of caught you at it. There's some integrity in that part of it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't think people understand how corrupt it actually is on what he tried to do when he brought these fake electors in and stuff like that, especially like in the state of Arizona. He really, if you look at what's happening, when he did that in Georgia and we did it in Arizona, he really went like to smaller places. And they really studied it and was like, all right, let's go to this particular location.
Right.
And we're going to just bring in fake electors here. They didn't like walk into like Phoenix or somewhere where it was big, where it had been caught up. They tried to go to like the smallest little, most rural place and kind of do it to where they could kind of influence that and basically bring fake people that aren't the electors. Well, that's because they never won the popular vote. So now it's not it's not like people went out and voted for Trump and said, hey, we wanted Trump to win on the popular side. We're going to go the backhanded way and try to cheat by bringing in electors and doing it that way. And it's very corrupt. But I'm glad that we have the system set up to kind of catch that, because he could have got away with that. Yeah. Simply just got people that he knows are going to vote for him. He tried to move them in and move out the people that were actually put in there. And that's crazy. And then I think people don't really understand how nuts that is. And they just like ignore it and be like, well, that's okay. No, that ain't okay.
No.
It's a reason why nobody else ever tried that shit. And we never had this problem. And it's one person that actually sat down and had a team of people, Roger Stone and Steve Bannon, that actually sat down and studied the political system and said, this is the way we're going to steal the election, basically. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of that sympathy and they coming at him, bullshit. He's doing things that nobody ever did. Nobody ever thought about that. You know what I'm saying? Believe you me, Nixon would have did that shit a long time ago. He got away with it. You know what I'm saying? And we persecuted Nixon for the Watergate shit.
Right.
And all of a sudden, this dude's doing all of this and that. And you want to feel sorry for him? Fucking crazy.
What he said. I don't understand it. And it does, when people are scared of, the elections, and like they said, there's things that people are doing wrong, and, you can't trust this and you can't trust that. But who's really doing so much distrustful things? I was like, y'all, the person that y'all trying to vote for is the one who's over here skirting and like you said, just embellishing things. And now we all want to feel, like you said, feel sorry for him. It's just mind-boggling to me. And so questioning integrity, we always, it's a running joke about politicians. Nobody trusts a politician.
Right.
They always say politicians are liars and thieves, and it's sad because we shouldn't have those type of people running our country, right? Making decisions for us. So
I just think, I just think that it just opens my eyes to the fact that there's a lot of, I guess, risk with our electoral system that we have not shored up. I think that there's a lot of possibility of someone coming in with the intent to do wrong with our electoral system. As you can see, like you said, with all the stuff that's going on, whether it be payments to keep people quiet so that, it doesn't hurt your chances to win, whether it's going in and having fake electors, whether it's telling someone over the phone to find me more votes. There's a lot of gaps in the process that allows people to take advantage and cheat more than what we probably thought there was before. Like you said, shit we didn't even think about doing. That before it was just like, people are making what is it? Getting dead people to vote, like people that are dead. That was the only thing people used to worry about. Stupid ass shit like that. People voting twice and shit like that. Now you like, fuck the votes, nigga. I'm going to the electors. Yeah, because it don't matter how many motherfucking votes is out there. If the electors say you win this state or this whatever, you win it. Yeah. So that's that. So there's a lot of possibility for bad actors to do things they don't want to do. And besides that, our election system is fucked up anyway because there's money involved in it. Anytime there's money for campaigning, you got to have a certain amount of money to campaign. You got to have donations. You got to have all of this and that. Correct. There's always a chance for corruption or something that creates an unlevel playing field for everyone involved. So for me, I think it's opened my eyes to some bad things with the electoral system, and then also just validated some of the thoughts that I have about some of the shit that's fucked up already.
Yeah, look it, man, it ain't perfect, man. We all know that, but we can look around the world and see some other governments and see some things to where it ain't that either. You know what I'm saying? Like we know, especially in South America, where you have, democracies that are influenced by one guy is actually a dictator or whatever the case may be. And they have fake electors like Russia. You can just name that one. Putin always wins. It's, they go vote, but doesn't mean anything. Look at case in point. When we have to start pulling out the Constitution and questioning what the forefathers did because somebody now has done something that nobody's done over 200 years or even had to think about, there's something wrong. You know what I'm saying? I don't think Benjamin Franklin and all them sat there and wrote down and thought that Donald Trump in the year 2024 was going to send fake electors to Arizona and try to win the election. They just didn't take it like that, or they didn't foresee somebody actually doing something like that, because it would just be ridiculous to challenge the political system like that. But unfortunately, we have people out there that are doing that or are doing anything to win. Look, guys, what you got to understand about this is if you let somebody take power like that, you're going to have to take it away.
Yeah.
So what happens now is if this power gets taken and we can't do it politically, the next time we do it, we're going to have to do it with a gun in our hands. Plain and simple. That's just how it works.
Yeah.
There's no other way. Nobody relinquishes power once they take it.
Right.
Nobody does that. He's not going to say, oh, yeah, by the way, one person did. It was George Washington. That was it. George Washington was the only person that probably had all the army and everything behind him and could easily said, hey, you know what? I'm king. That's it.
But you know what?
You know what I mean?
To your point about George Washington and even about like our forefathers and what their intent was, they had no idea that we would become one day, they had 13 fucking colonies.
Yeah.
They had no idea it would be 50 states and then all the territories that we have. They had no idea that we would be the industrial power that we had, which led us to being the leader of the damn free world. Yeah. They had they like, we got these 13 little motherfucking spots.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure that we do right in these 13 spots. We got Indians surrounding us.
Yeah, we just want King George off our ass.
We just want King George to leave the fuck alone so we could carry on in these 13 little ass colonies. That's it. They had no idea what we would become. So whatever rules and things that they put in place back then, that shit does not carry weight today. Some of them do, but a lot of them don't. And that kind of leads me to my last question. Speaking of, our power in elections and things like that, Trump's running. He's trying to run a good presidential campaign. Will he be able to manage that with all of these cases going on, and how, if you have any idea?
I honestly, I think the longer he's in court, the more damaging it causes. But if you look at polls and stuff, when people are asking him, would you still vote for Trump if he's found guilty of this, found guilty of that? And they're unwavered. So I don't know. In my eyes, yes, I would think it would be becoming more damaging. But when you talk to some of these, I don't know what they are, but they love some Trump. It's like he can do no wrong. It don't matter. It don't matter. So I don't know. I would think if we were talking about anybody else, yes, that he would have difficulty and not being in the limelight, not doing all his little rallies. But I don't know if he even needs to, just because they have unwavering support. I've never seen anything like that. Also, though, the only thing is your independent voters. Just like we say, who swings the election? Your independents. And it said that more than a third of independent voters would not vote for him if he's found guilty. Yeah. So that's where he's going to have to be like, okay. Because I will tell you this, the Trump voter, they ain't moving. The Trump voter is the Trump voter, period. Exclamation point. But the independents, I think based upon how longer he's in court, what the courts find him, if he's guilty or not, I think that's where he'll get his damage, is them. But as far as the Trump supporter, no. And we all know the Democrats and liberals and everybody else is just already done with Trump.